You might be believing stuff about yourself that is not true. And today we're going to find out what those beliefs are and how to change them. Welcome to How to Be a Dangerous Woman, a place where we dive deep into breaking down into what makes amazing women just like you think, feel, and perform at levels beyond what you thought was possible. This is a place where women learn what it truly feels like to have it all without guilt, without imposter syndrome, and without overwhelm getting in the way. I'm Dr. Crystal Connor, and together we're going to explore the health, mindsets, and strategies that distinguish the world's top performing women. And you're going to walk away with the exact tools that you need to build and create a life on your own terms. Hi there, my friends. I've been thinking a lot lately about the things that we accidentally believe to be true about ourselves. And I say accidentally because I think a lot of times someone says something to us or tells us their thought about who we are, and then we internalize those things, sometimes without even being aware of it. It becomes a background thought that dictates the things that we do or we don't do in life. Sometimes it's not even a background thought, it's the loudest voice in your head telling you what is and isn't possible for you. And it can have you really living a life that is only a shadow of the one that you were meant to live. I can think of so many women who are living out the beliefs of someone else, who have adopted those beliefs as their own, and it has them stuck. I have a friend who is a born leader. She commands a room. Anytime she walks in, she has such a great personality. She's so charming, but for years, she was stuck. Because years ago, she recalls when a classmate made fun of her accent and made her feel less than. So she stopped speaking. She shrunk. She stopped commanding the room. It wasn't until recently that she realized that that one statement, made passively, had become the cornerstone of her beliefs about herself. And then I have a client who recalled being told that she would only ever be moderately successful in her life. First of all, who says that to somebody? Somebody told her she was going to be only moderately successful in her life. And at the time, she dismissed it, but it embedded itself into her mind as the truth. And every time she attempted to set a massive new goal, she always found herself scaling it back, being reasonable and limiting herself to only moderate success. It wasn't until we started talking about possibility in her life that she brought forth those words and realized just how paralyzing they had been for her. And then I even think about my own story, how I was always told that I was the shy one, the introvert, the background player, and how for years I found myself fighting against that self image and the one that's here speaking to you today. And when I say fight, I mean that it was a literal battle. Every time I stepped out to do something outside of that shy, introverted container. So, what are you believing about yourself? Who planted the seeds for you? Innocently or maybe not so innocently? Who planted those seeds that have now taken full root in your life? I want you to spend some time. We're going to do some exercises today, and I really want you to spend some time on them. Okay? Because I want you to really uncover the limiting beliefs that are holding you back in creating a life that you love. And I don't say that flippantly, creating a life you love. I know that sounds really great, but I know some of you don't believe it's possible for you. You have a million reasons why, and I want us to start tearing those down one by one. Because living a life that you love has zero, hear me out, friends, it has zero to do with being happy all the time. It has nothing to do with not feeling pain, sorrow, disappointment, and struggle. It doesn't. A life you love is one where you experience it all fully, the full range of emotions without fighting it, where you allow yourself to live life, not just go through the motions. Living a life you love starts with your ability to handle that. And that's what so many of us avoid We avoid the tough stuff. We buffer around it. We distract ourselves and go around. You're a dangerous woman. You go through. You don't avoid. You go through. In order to live a life you love, you need to do the things that you were put here to do, the things you were purposed to do. There are things that are in your heart right now that you want to accomplish. There's a woman that you want to be. And every second you spend not being her, not accomplishing those things, is a second you can never get back. It's one less second you have spent in a life that you don't love. Back that up. Let me redo that. It's one less second spent in a life that you love, and one more second spent in a life that you don't love. So let's look at and find the beliefs holding you back. How do you know? Here's how. I want you to get out your journal. You better have a journal, friend. By this point, get a journal if you don't have one. Get out your journal and start dreaming. I want you to outline the dream scenario for these parts of your life: relationships, career, health, and finances. I want you to begin to dream about what your dream scenario would be in your relationships, with your family, with your friends, with your boo. What does your dream career look like? What would it be? What are you doing? What would your health be, both mental and physical? What about your finances? How much money do you want to make in your lifetime? And don't trip on that one. We don't, especially as women, we don't talk about money enough. We vilify it and whisper about it. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. When you think about money in this exercise, I want you to blow the doors off. I want you to think about generational wealth, wealth that builds up your family and your community. You want to give back to charity, to your school, to hospitals, to orphans, to widows. Dream about it and write it down. And you get to also want to write about having your dream car or your dream house, whatever. This isn't an either or. You can have a heart for giving, and you can also want to have nice things. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. I think it might be time for us to do a money episode. What do you guys think? Okay, then I want you to describe yourself. Are you smart, talented, beautiful? Are you outspoken or an introvert? Why? When did you start believing that was true of you? Describe yourself. What titles have you assigned to yourself? Which ones are you holding on to? I find that a lot of our beliefs about who we think we are developed early in our childhood. We hear from our parents and from other adults in our lives about who we are. And oftentimes we either act that out or we do the complete opposite of that. The teacher that says you're too talkative, so you learn how to silence yourself. Or maybe your parents drove home the point that everyone in your family is either a doctor or a lawyer, and those are your only choices. Maybe your family has a long line of people who work one job their whole life and retire from that same job. So the idea of you being an entrepreneur and starting your own business feels like it is totally against the grain. I am a middle child in every sense of the word. Ask my older sister, ask my younger brother. So I grew up and my sister is very extroverted. So early on, I assumed the role of the quiet sibling. I wanted to do things. I wanted to be a cheerleader, mainly because I wanted to wear the cute uniform, but I wanted to be a cheerleader. I wanted to run for student council. I just didn't think that those things were for me. I can remember my first grade teacher telling my mom that other kids really wanted to be my friend, but I was just too shy and I wouldn't talk to them. I'm 45, y'all. I remember that like it was yesterday. So I want you to just spend some time thinking and answering all of these questions. And when you have your list of who you think you are, I want you to reflect on why. Why do you think that? Where did the belief come from? Now, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, where did the belief come from? Because in the end, it doesn't really matter where it came from. What matters is if you want to continue to believe it or not. If it is serving you and you want to continue to believe it, believe it. But if it's not, we got to do something about that. So, with your list of beliefs about yourselves, the ones you want to change, I want you to take each one and find examples of when they have not been true. Find a time where you weren't a procrastinator and you got things done. Find a time where you were successful and you reached a goal that you set. Find a time when you did something that was in opposition to the belief that you are trying to change. Don't waste time on beliefs that are not hindering you. I believe I'm not great at math. I'm not going to spend any time trying to change that belief because it's not holding me back in any way. I'm not trying to be a mathematician or do my own taxes over here. So I'm not messing with that belief. It's not worth the time. Pick the beliefs that you know are standing in the way of your dreams. What I want you to see here is that the belief is not always true. I want you to start poking holes in it. And next week, we're going to go deeper into this. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by giving you a whole bunch of homework. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed to the point where you just back off from doing this work completely because you're feeling overwhelmed. So that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to talk about how to uncover some of the biggest dreams you've been pushing down. I know you got them. There's some things you've been pushing down, and we're going to talk about how to move towards actually doing them. But this is the first step this week. So work on this. Hit me up on social media or email if you have questions, or better yet, girl, join the How to Be a Dangerous Woman Facebook group and connect with other like-minded women who have the same goals as you. We're all out here just trying to be dangerous women. All right, my friends, I hope you have an amazing week. God bless you, and see you next Monday. If you found today's episode helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and subscribe to this channel so you never miss an episode. And I'd really love to hear how you're doing. You can find me at Dr. Crystal Connor on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I can't wait to hear what progress you've made. So until next week, see ya.